back, it's Melda here, and I have a 12 by 12 process video using the Felicity Jane Zoey kit. And I am scrapbooking a picture of my daughter with my two nieces at our local summer fair. So I really like this kit because it's very girly, which is why I picked this photo here. And I just thought it goes really well, even though it does have a lot of the blue and black and white. It was very, very summery, very, very bright, I guess. Bright and happy is the kinds of words that I'm looking for. Not that they're very difficult words to find. Anyways, so I am going to do something a little bit different here. I am going to use this stripe paper. It's got the pink and the teal blue and the yellow stripes across it, and I like it because it's not too far out of my comfort zone. It's still kind of a white background, but it does have a little bit of color, and it went perfect with the shirts that the girls are wearing. So I'm going to start with that background paper, and I'm thinking that I want to have the layout weighted to the top left only. I'm trying not to do an entire diagonal layout, so I'm trying to focus everything to the top left. So right now I'm just going through the papers and I'm trying to choose which black and white paper I want to use. So I'm going to settle on this one with the bows. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to gut the center of it, just because it's so pretty and I don't want to cut into the corner of a 12 by 12. So I'm going to gut the center. I'm going to leave about an inch around each side, and then I'm going to cut the corner off of this center piece. So I'm just going to measure how far in I want it to go, and I think I'm going to settle on about 4 or 5 inches. So I'm going to measure each side, and then I am going to just cut it. So at this point here, I figure it'll probably be crooked if I don't measure and mark it. So I'm going to measure and mark. And then I'm just going to go mark to mark and just cut a straight line across of that. And there you go. So that is my corner piece that I want to attach. My original idea was that I wanted to machine stitch this. However, I don't know what was happening. I think I was playing around with the tension on my machine or something, so it was basically just eating up through the paper and creating a big knot underneath. So I didn't end up machine stitching it. I covered the mistake with something else, which works out pretty well. So at this point, I'm just going to map my photos. I'm going to choose this yellow, which is so different for me. I wouldn't ever have thought that I was going to use the yellow, especially because it is so bright. But like I said, it just goes perfectly with this photo. And I'm going to also use the pink. So I've cut the yellow, not exactly to the size of the photo, just a little bigger, but the pink, I wanted it to be a little bit bigger. I'm not really going to bother measuring it. I know what size the photo is, so I'm going to go just a little larger than that. And as you can see, I didn't make it wide enough, but that's okay because I'm going to offset it so that it's not perfect. So what I really love about these kits are these Project Life cards that the kits come with. And I don't do Project Life, but I really like these cards for layering. I find that a lot of times when I have maybe a 12 by 12 paper or 6 by 6 paper pad, I don't necessarily cut into it because I don't want to take just a little piece of the paper just for layers and then end up with a big scrap paper. So I like these Project Life cards. So what I've done is I cut the black and white Project Life card in half so that I can put one on the top, one on the bottom. I've also added the clear acetate sheet with the black polka dots on it right behind the photo. And now what I'm doing is I'm going through the chipboard pieces as well as the ephemera pack that came with the kit. I've already gone through it and picked out what I think that I might like to use on this layout. So now I'm going through it again and trying to figure out where I want everything to go. I really like these bows in the kit. However, I feel like it's too much of the bows with that background paper on the corner, so I am going to get rid of those. But everything else I really love. I really love using the acetate, even though I don't use as much of it on this layout as is there right now. I still really love it. And as you can see, I have these cute little tags I was thinking maybe I wanted to have it look like they were hanging there. But again, I wanted to have everything weighted to the top left, so I didn't want to add too much to the bottom right, because then it would just turn into another diagonal layout for me, and I think I've done those enough. For now, at least. I'm pretty sure I'll come back to it one day. Probably one day soon. So I'm just trying to figure out where I want everything, if I want to commit to not using those pieces, and I do. So I'm going to move everything aside. I think I like everything where it is, but some things do change, as they always do. So I'm going to just start sticking my layers down. And here I've already stuck this whole bit together, and I have placed the yellow cardstock or the yellow paper on some foam just to give it a little bit of height. And now I'm going to attach this acetate sheet. I'm going to cut it in half and just use a little bit, because there's no sense in using the whole piece if you're just going to hide it anyways, or hide most of it, I should say. So now I'm going to assemble this back, and here is where I am going to cover the little mistake that I had made with my sewing machine, and I'm just going to cover that. So that is a little chipboard scallop banner, or border I should say. And there we go. So at this point I am just trying to figure out how I'm going to attach this so that it's straight, so that you don't see too much glue, so that I don't have to use a lot of adhesive. And I'm going to attach it using my stapler, even though it's behind stuff. I probably could have just glued it and it would have been fine. But sometimes I feel like I have an idea stuck in my head and I just make things a little bit more difficult than they need to be. That's okay. Whatever works. That's my process, right? So I have to apologize for my voice, as well as if I have the sniffles a little bit. My allergies are just going bonkers. It's the fall time right now, and I never thought that I had allergies in the fall. It usually hits me really bad in the springtime, but every year is different, and this year it's been the fall. Okay, so now I'm going to attach most of the stuff that I've decided on. I'm going to start with the photo, and then I'm going to go back with the embellishments. I just got to make sure it's straight. So here is where I decide that I'm probably not going to use the bow, because there's just too much. As you can see, I got rid of the black one and I'm moving the pink one. And I'm bringing back this number 3, which is because there are 3 of the girls. And the kit came with a whole set of numbers that I don't necessarily use very often. I don't turn to numbers. So I thought I would be a little bit different and use that. So I like the 3, and then I'm going to use the happy. And then I thought originally that I could maybe do the title as 3 Happy Smiles. But the tag that I picked out just says smile, not smiles, and I couldn't figure out how to make it plural and make it look pleasing, so I don't go with that. So I'm just going to stick some tabs here, and then I'm going to go back to working on the title. So at this point, I've already decided that I'm not using the celebrate or the fun or what was the other one that I used? I think it was happy or loved. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use, like I said, the 3 happy, and then I do end up going with girls because at this point I forgot, oh my gosh, I have alphas. So I'm trying to make this work, and for the life of me, it doesn't. And then I start moving some things away, and I realize that I have the alphabet pack, which was actually perfect. So I'm going to bring that in a little while. So because the photo is popped up on some foam, I have to add some foam to the back of the word happy, just to the end of it, so that it is in line with the photo, because I did place this on top of the photo. So I'm just going to add a little piece of foam, and there we go. So here's the tab or the tag or sticker or ticket, whatever you want to call it, that says smiles on it. And I'm still thinking that I could maybe use that, but I don't. I actually really like this color scheme, and I really like the way that this turned out. The pink with the yellow and the teal with the black and white is just, I really like the color combo. It's very summery, very bright, very fresh. So I am going to commit, and I am going to adhere my photo down for this entire cluster, I guess we can call it. And I am not using a ruler at this point just because I have the stripes on the back of the paper, so I'm just going to line it up with those stripes and hope that it's straight. It's straighter than I would be able to put it on without any stripes or ruler. So for some reason I really want to use that bow. It doesn't work. And then I found the alphas, and then I found a little pink label that I put the word girls on, and it just fit perfectly. So I really like that the number 3, the happy and the girls, is pretty much black and white with a little bit of pink, but they're all different fonts and different patterns, so I really like that. So I think that that title works really well together. So now I am thinking of using some of the puffy heart stickers and puffy shape stickers, but I want to add some ink splatters, and then I thought, well, I'll just add these first, and then I'll add these ink splatters. So I'm going to do that. So I add some hearts. I believe I add some of the circles, maybe, and then I'm going to do some ink splatters. And I'm going to do the ink splatters in black. There is a lot of black in this layout. Not too much, but enough. So here we go, ink splatters. And again, you have to be really careful when you have layers. Make sure you're focusing on where your splatters are going, because as you can see on the top left, there is an ink splatter right on the edge of one of my paper layers, and it's bleeding into a straight line. I don't necessarily like that. Some people might like that, but I don't. You also have to be really careful when your ink is not dry, that you don't stamp onto your page and then smudge it like I will do in about a couple seconds. So I'm stamping these little hearts here, and then I think it says you're the cutest or the cutest, and then I smudged it on the yellow heart. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to rub that away, because it is kind of it's a very smooth surface, so it can rub away pretty easily. And then I'm just going to cover the part that I can't rub away with a puffy shape. So if you can, do everything first and then do your ink splatters so that you can kind of put it aside to dry. I sometimes forget that, and that's okay, but you just got to be really careful. So that's the entire layout. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you really enjoyed this process, and I hope you will come back and give me a like and hopefully subscribe. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time. Bye!